And the player began a new dream, and the player dreamed again, dreamed better, and the player was the universe, and the player was love. You are the player. Wake up. Have you ever actually read the end poem? A lot of the YouTube videos I see reciting it interpret it as just saying, you win, stop playing, maybe touch grass, loser. But like a lot of art, it's all up to your interpretation. Everyone hooks onto different parts of the poem and they understand it in their own way. Your personal take on it says a lot about you and what you value. And believe it or not, a lot of YouTubers value not going outside. And, I mean, same. But for me, there's something else that jumps out at me over and over again in the poem. The difference between the game and the dream. The game, in my mind, is the progression, the thing that this game shares with most others. The part where the advancements guide you on an epic quest to kill the big scary dragon. The dragon dies, you get your wings, and you jump into the fountain. You did it. You won. You beat the game. But, wait a second. It says that you have not yet achieved the highest level. What? The universe says that your creativity, no matter where you focus it, is important in its own right. Whether you're creative in this video game or in real life is insignificant in the eyes of these two. And the universe said everything you need is within you. And the universe said you are stronger than you know. And now that the game is over, you have the power to start a new dream when you wake up. And then you wake up. Even though that was the end of the progression, you're still here. That was just the ending of the game part. That thing you've been striving for this whole time was really just a fun way of teaching you how to fight mobs, place blocks, mine, and craft. Now you're in the dream part of the game, where you must make your own goals. Now you can begin a new dream, a better dream. You have so many amazing ideas. You have access to every block and item in the game. You are truly unstoppable. Okay, they're playing Fortnite now. Okay. That's kind of weird because they can do anything they want. The world is their burrito, but despite that, they don't actually take advantage of it. I don't think they're lazy. I'm not sure that lazy players exist. I think it's more up to their circumstances. I mean, think about it. After being so carefully guided step by step through the game, it just throws them out on the curb and says, good luck with the dream phase, loser. Try touching grass, I guess. I don't know. They wake up and suddenly they are the one and only person in charge of everything they do. You could say it's a rude awakening. Like and subscribe. Why do any of this when they could just get on Fortnite? I mean, it's got a fun progression curve over and over again every single game. You never have to leave the game phase. But for them, there's this creative itch that Hatsune Miku doing the gritty just can't scratch. Everyone else seems to be able to build so effortlessly, but for them, the weight of all the possibilities is paralyzing. It's like when it's time to execute a plan, they don't function. I wish there was a word for that. This is a very personal problem that isn't talked about very much, because the exact solution for you isn't something you can find word for word in a YouTube video. Everyone does things slightly differently, and being creative in the dream is a crop that takes time and effort to grow within you. I want to try and plant the seed though, and maybe give it a bit of bone meal. You should know that if you relate, you are not alone. You're not lazy or stupid or unfit to dream. Everything you need is within you, and you are stronger than you know. You just need a different way to be creative. There's this bizarre ideal in people's minds that creativity has to be spontaneous and unstructured to actually be good. As if creative players are creative and active and always on par at all times, no exceptions, get fucked loser. But I find that in reality, it's the exact opposite. A lot of creative players actually have strict systems that help guide their creativity. Nobody is always motivated forever at all times, and having systems in place to account for that is good for longevity. It's like if instead of making a melon farm, you just counted on the fact that occasionally you'll find melons in a jungle. And like, that's true, but eventually you'll run out of convenient ones to search, and it'll get harder and harder to keep finding your free-range melons. Planting a single melon seed will give you more melons in the long run than all of the jungles in the world. So let's plant the melon seed. Let's make a system that cultivates action rather than just counting on stumbling across inspiration. First, I want you to think about your inventory. It can only hold so many things. Trying to craft while overwhelmed with items is tedious and makes you not want to do it at all. You can avoid this though, because you don't need slime balls in your pocket at all times. You just need to know where to find them when you need them. The solution to your inventory problem is outsourcing the long-term storage of your items to an inanimate object, something like a chest or shulker box or ender chest. So now you can use your inventory to only carry around what you need right now. It's so obvious that you might not even think about it like that, but you need to remember that your brain's inventory needs the same treatment. Having it be constantly overflowing with thoughts is super unproductive. And in the same way, the solution is to move them over to an inanimate object. This is the essence of what I want to relay to you. Your brain should not be your storage system. Your brain is for thinking, problem solving, and playing the game, not for remembering day after day that you have to fix the piston door at some point and feeling guilty about it every single time you walk by. Let's say that you have nothing at all and you want to start making a system for storing your thoughts. What should you do? The first thing I'd recommend would be to get a good spot to jot down quick notes. A note for me is a tiny piece of information that you want to remember later, like the supply list of items you need for a project, the coordinates of a skeleton spawner, the color palette of a build you're making, etc., etc. It's getting the slime balls out of my brain. Writing a thought down as a note is how you show that it is important to you. Think about every single item that you have and what percentage of those stay in your inventory at all times. It's like these 4, and that's it. That's the level we should be looking at for your brain too. 99% of thoughts can be stored away for later. Much like storage systems, everyone has a slightly different way that they want to store and organize their notes. Some people use complicated tech to auto-sort their notes based on the subject matter. Some people sort them manually into sections, like one for coordinates, one for big ideas, one for small ideas, one for each section of the world, whatever. And some people just have a chess monster. That's me, 3. I usually roll with just a big pile of miscellaneous notes, sorted by date of creation. I have the brain of a fucking gremlin, and if I'm not able to start typing the note in under 5 seconds, it's too complicated for my goopy goblin gamer brain, 3. However you end up storing your notes, you should always choose function over form. You can't start emptying your brain of ideas if you aren't sure that they'll go into your storage system, because after 5 minutes on the floor, they will despawn, and you cannot get them back. If you wrote down, say, the coordinates of a skeleton spawner, those aren't really useful unless someone like you cares a whole lot and builds a skeleton grinder there. So you need to convert these notes into tasks that you can actually go and do. This means we need a list, the scariest list of them all. Stay calm, stick with me, this is fine, okay? Everything you need is within you. Most people I see make a to-do list do it in a way that is not actually helpful for them. You want to make it like the advancements, remember? Say you want to go to the Nether. The advancements have distinct, easy-to-follow tasks to get you all the way there. It doesn't just say Nether, and good luck getting there, loser, try touching grass. Once again, it seems obvious that that would be a bad set of instructions, but that might be exactly what you're doing with your own tasks. So if you want a skeleton mob grinder to actually be built, don't just write skeleton grinder on your to-do list and call it done. Skeleton grinder isn't an action you can take. Skeleton grinder? I hardly even know her! Like and subscribe. But I find that a lot of people make tasks exactly like this, and it's really confusing. Instead, you want to look at the overall end result of having a skeleton grinder and bridge over to it. Write down the first practical thing that you can do right now to start getting this action done. You want it so straightforward that a fucking Cro-Magnon from Mesopotamia would be able to follow it. The tasks that work the best to get you started can be hilariously small, like place 4 whole torches on the sides of the mob spawner. The point is that projects have a sort of static friction. That's right, I went to college. And if you can break that static friction with an easy task, the whole project will start to slide down the slope. And after you're done doing that, you can write down the next task, clear out a 9x9x7 area, then make a 2 tall trench on one side, then put water opposite the trench, etc., etc., until it's done. This to-do list is meant to serve you, so if you feel like writing out the rest of the steps would just slow you down, then don't do it. The productivity police aren't going to come after you if you don't write down the task. I find that the function of taking tasks out of my brain and untangling them in writing is super useful. It's not just a different way to look at your tasks, it's a different way to store and think about them. And there are many choices for how you could store them. You could put them on signs, or in a book and quill, or Todoist, or Trello, or Notion, or Clear, or even Google Sheets for all I care. You could even just put your tasks into the calendar and schedule times to do them. Whatever makes the most sense for for you to easily put tasks in and check them off is what you should use. Once again, I just use the book and quill because it's the most underrated item in Minecraft. Mojang, please add an ender book and quill and make books and quill dyeable, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, that's my one game suggestion for this video. Now that you have some tasks on your list, it's time to start, doing things. Start at the highest priority task and work down to lowest priority. If you don't know the priority, just put tasks on different pieces of paper and let the humble dropper decide. This should give you a crystal clear place to start, and that task should be an immediate action that you can take to bring your overall objective one step closer to completion. Everything is distinct and sharp and concrete, and that should make it easier to do whatever you want to do. Recap, your brain is not your storage system. Store things to remember in notes and tasks in a to-do list, which sounds so incredibly simple whenever I put it that way, because it is that simple. Everything you needed was already within you. You were stronger than you knew. I don't think that I can accurately stress how overpowered it is to have this skill. Oh wow, looks like I'm all out of Crimson Stem and I need to go buy some more from the shops. Just take a note of that, and next time you go shopping, you can look back at your shopping notes and buy it. Oh man, I just had a great idea for a new build. I should really go and do that. Write it down in your notes. You can look back at that note later and say, oh okay, the first step to doing this is clearing out an area. So you can put that on your to-do list. Hey, what's up? What do you want the color palette for this build to be? Oh yeah, I need to respond to that, but I'm currently in the middle of caving and I really don't want to right at this second. Usually you would just try to remember it later, and let's be so for real, you completely forget about it and leave them on red for days after days until they reach out again in a slightly angrier tone and you say, oh man, I'm so sorry, I totally spaced it. I'm just a dummy. And then you forget to respond to them again. Instead of dealing with all that, you can just put respond to color palette in your to-do list, and as long as you consistently check that list, future you will get to it. Being good at taking in tasks and executing them later means that you will be a far more dependable player. Everyone hates having to remind that one guy to do something, and they know that they can't remember it, so they try and pass the burden back onto you. So now either you're doing even more work to hound them down for it, or you just don't bother asking them again and deal with it yourself, and it's just fucking If this is you, you can instead write this stuff down. Actually remember tasks for later. Actually be able to do things for other players. +3 charisma, +3 luck, +3 perception, just like that. Come on. I've talked about to-do lists to a lot of people, especially while making this video, and they often say something along the lines of, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea, I should make a to-do list. And then they never do it. I hope that you take this video as a sign that this is the time to actually give it a go. Everything you need is within you. You are stronger than you know. I made this video when I did for a good reason. Just saying. But, what if you try and do this and you're still not able to do anything? This is the part in every single productivity book where the author says that you not being able to do this is your problem, and I have done all I can to help you. Funny how if it doesn't work, that means that the book is good, and if it does work, that means that it's good as well. Wow, a win-win for them, how convenient. But when actually writing this, I can kind of see why they all say that, because it's kind of true. Like, if you're watching this video to this point and are actively trying your best to change your behavior for the better, that's like the best case scenario. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to fail. I think I've made it pretty clear that you are the ultimate decider of what happens with this. I'm a bunch of pixels on this screen. I can't make you do anything. This video is all up to your interpretation. Everyone will hook onto different parts and they'll understand it in their own way. Your personal take on this video says a lot about you and what you value. I'm definitely not perfect, and neither are you, so don't feel bad about falling off parts of the system and seeing where they fit in your game later. And if you come back and find that it fits really well in the garbage can, that's completely fine. There's no biblically accurate way of being creative, that's the whole thing. The fact that you are even trying to make this work at all shows that you love yourself and you care about improving. Obviously, this Minecraft video is not the end-all be-all of productivity. This is a whole aisle unto itself that I am very much into. If this video doesn't work for you, there are so many other resources you can look into. One tip I have for you right now is what to do when you just cannot not make any progress on a project. This can happen sometimes when you're just doing the same project forever. Breaking down the overall goal into small parts doesn't work just because you're burnt out on the whole thing. In this scenario, I find it super useful to spread out. This game really incentivizes you to stay in your mega base at all times. After all, it's hard to leave, and you've spent so much time making it a nice place to be. But I swear to you, going to a different physical location is the best way that I've found to kickstart doing something creative. Each biome has its own set of resources and challenges that make building there refreshing by itself. It could be a place 1,000 blocks away, it could be a different part of your base. Hell, you could even pick up your whole computer and move it to another location in real life. That's what Mumbo does. Sometimes you get stuck in a monotonous mental menagerie of mind-mashing mediocrity, and going somewhere else can break that cycle. Or if you're burnt out on the main goal, you can choose a side project to do for a while and come back to the main later. This is what Etho does. He hasn't finished the library for the past 12 years, not because he's lazy, but because he knows when to swap projects to stay interested in this game. If fixing that stupid piston door has been on your list for weeks and weeks and you still haven't done it, simply place one piece of TNT in the middle and fucking explode the door. The task is done. Clearly that door wasn't that important to you anyways. I've been making this video for an entire year, and I didn't realize that I was talking about executive dysfunction this whole time. So here's a bit of a speed boost. If you find that you related to this video, that's the keyword, executive dysfunction. Look into it. It's a common symptom of ADHD and autism. What? I'm totally shocked. Me? Attention deficit hyperactive disorder. I've never seen the two of us in the same room at the same time is all I'm saying. If you think, oh, I don't have ADHD or autism, first of all, are you like 100% sure? And second of all, advice for autism and ADHD usually also lends itself well to executive dysfunction, so looking at one would probably help you with the other. You should look into it and see that you aren't alone in all of this. There are many great books about it, including the one I just ripped off with that footnote, How to Keep House While Drowning. This one's great, especially if you have problems with repeating hygiene tasks. I would highly recommend that you check it out. There's also another book I want to recommend, because apparently that's what I do now at the end of these videos, Getting Things Done by David Allen, a classic productivity tome that if you're interested in this kind of field, you've probably already read. That one's good if you have literally nothing. No skills, no brain, no bitches, no motivation. David Allen walks you through step by step. As with all productivity books, they are very front-loaded. So if you don't think you can read or listen to either of these in their entirety, just listen to like the first half of them, and that's where 80% of the useful stuff is. Plus, How to Keep House While Drowning has an abridged version with highlighted points that make it real easy to read, even if you struggle reading books like me. Anyways, thanks for watching, I guess? I don't know if I've ever said that. Sorry this video took so long. It probably seemed really simple, but it really was not. I've still got plenty more topics that I want to cover, so look forward to that.